Hey, it's Adele from Let's Get Inkie, and today I've got a special guest along with me.
Hello!
It's Aaron from Inkie Beard,
Yeah.
which, if you're new to my channel, it's my hubby. And he's joining me on today's voiceover because it's a bit of a special one.
Yes, very special.
A little special announcement, and no, it's not another baby.
No.
Every time I say anything about working on a special project or an announcement, people jump at babies. We're not having another baby
have enough
for a
on
long
our
time.
plate for the moment with the little man.
We do. If you're new to the channel, we have a very boisterous, energetic 16-month-old, and we're good for now. No more. But I do have a special announcement that has to do with this process video, because I'm in a freaking magazine.
Yay!
Brush Magazine, which is an art journaling magazine, contacted me and asked if they could do a little feature on me, and I did it, and I was very nervous. I denied about it because that's the weird thing. It's more with my anxiety and social phobia, it's scarier for me to be in a magazine in someone's hands than on a screen that they can just click off. I don't know why, but scared me a little bit. So
You did amazing though.
Oh,
I've read the piece, and the magazine is really cool. Like, I didn't know that there was an art journaling magazine out there.
Yeah.
So that's really cool.
Yes. It's the link is in the description. They didn't ask me to do a process video, but I like to film almost everything I make, so I decided to. But the link's in the description below. You can get a digital copy. I've got a digital copy at the moment, and I have ordered some print copies as well. I don't think it's available in all newsagents, but there is. You can buy it online in a physical copy, and I think it might say on the website if it's available anywhere else. But yeah, it's very exciting. So step one of this process video is just sticking and plonking a whole heap of napkins.
Tissue paper?
Yeah, so
Napkins,
it's tissue
yeah,
paper,
right.
napkins. We call them serviettes over here, and just sticking a whole heap down. And my idea was to just make a really, really colourful...
Worded paper.
Worded paper's good. Also called book page.
Book page, whatever. Worded paper.
Worded paper. My idea was to just make a busy, colourful background, because I'm going to use a mask, which is kind of like a stencil, but it's the innards.
Yeah, right. So where a stencil, you do like the inner bit, it does the...
It does the opposite of a stencil.
The opposite? So the stencil is the outside bit?
So if you were using a stencil of a heart, it would have the heart shape cut out. And when you add the paint is where the heart's supposed to go.
Yeah, it goes on the innards.
Yep. But a mask is the heart cut out, and you put the paint on around the outside.
Right.
So it masks off the space instead of being... It's very similar. It's the exact same as a stencil. It's just the opposite.
It's just the inverse. Yeah, right.
So I put all my collagey bits down, left some gaps on purpose, and now I'm just using
some paints.
a range of dilutions, paints, and I'm just doing little blobby bits of colour. Just a little bit here,
Just a little blob.
a little bit there, trying to spread the love of each colour around so that there's not an entire section of yellow.
Yellow is so nice and bright.
It's very nice and bright, and this was the end of this pot. I've been making my yellow paint last for a long time, but I think it's finally done. It's reached that really cluggy stage when I kind of just need to slap it in my use it up journal and just do a big yellow background and then throw it, because it's on its way.
It's gotten cluggy. I wonder if there's a technical term for that.
Let me know in the comments.
Yeah.
Cluggy is a good way to describe it, but there might be a technical.
Yeah, like an actual
expired. Maybe it expired.
Yeah, maybe.
So I'm just going through and adding a range of colours, and the important thing here is that I'm overlapping it onto my tissue paper and my serviette background, just to make it all look like it belongs there seamlessly. If I was to not overlap it, the tissue paper would look very plonked on and kind of stand out a bit, and I just want it to look like one giant colourful background piece and not be able to actually pick out the separate little pieces of paper that I've stuck on.
Yeah, you'd have like little white borders and stuff,
Yeah.
right? It'd look a bit weird.
Yeah. So this is an extremely fun activity if you feel like being messy but don't really feel like concentrating. If you're binge watching your favourite show
I
on
imagine
Netflix.
it would be super satisfying as well,
It's
just
so
to be
satisfying.
like little bloop, 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 bloop,
Shove
bloop.
the paint here, there, everywhere. It was very, very fun. It's a good late night art activity if you just feel like getting messy but not particularly in the mood to draw finer details of, say, like someone's face or really give much
Or even really
concentration
think.
to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you can just get lost in
In
plonking. Like there's no real
thoughts going on.
Yeah.
Like now.
Obviously, there's no thoughts going on at the moment, but there's no like rhyme or reason as to
That's a
where
good way to put it.
a bit has to go.
Yeah. So then I'm grabbing my Dilutions stamp pad. I use the black, the blue, and the pink, not the green, but the black definitely gets a workout more than the other colours, and I'm just using a range of background stamps, and I'm focusing these on the areas that are just paint, so the solid areas. I am overlapping it onto the pattern pieces as well, but trying to make sure that all of those painted sections have something stamped on them.
You would have insane control if you could just do the painted sections.
Oh, that's asking way too much.
That would be ridiculous.
So these background stamps are just from a variety of, your local stamp shop would have some sort of backgroundy type stamp. I tried to do this one and it didn't really work that well because I'm using my Dina Wakley media journal for this. I should have said that. And it's mega chunky. So when I was filming this video, I think I had about 10 pages left to go. But there's lots of chunky texture, there's burlap pages, there's all sorts of things in there. So
Yeah, do you have the back cover propped up on stuff?
I do. I have it
Is
propped
it
up
so
on
that
paint.
it's at the same level?
Yeah, because otherwise one side of the book, because this page is towards the back of the journal and one side slopes down. It really annoys me when I'm filming. Next up, I'm grabbing some Posca paint pens. I just had those at my local art shop and I'm just doing some little doodly shapes. I'm doing some plus signs and hearts and stars and circles, just little doodly pieces, and I'm doing this to make everything flow together and to also help fill in some of those solid paint areas, because even though I've stamped on top of them, there's still some bits that are just paint. It's something like this, you don't realise that you skip over some sections, and I realised when I was doing the stamping, I missed a lot of the, like that periwinkle blue colour. For some reason I missed a lot of them. I don't know why.
That's weird how sometimes your
eye just didn't pick up on it.
Crosses over those bits, like it
Yeah.
just doesn't pick it up.
Yeah. So now you can see this is just big painty mess, and now my favourite whoosh wag.
Whoosh wag. Whoa.
This is my crazy splatter technique. Very technical.
Very crazy.
I get paint everywhere. There was paint on my phone,
that
paint on the
looks so
camera.
cool.
But you just use a white uni chalk texture marker, whatever you may call it.
Chalk marker.
Yep.
That's a good idea.
And just use that for my splatters. So now here's the mask, and this is an old one. I think it's American Crafts. Could be like Dear Lizzie or something or other. It's old, and I'm just using my makeup sponge and my Dilutions black paint to carefully pounce the paint.
So, question: why are you blobbing it on your mat there at the bottom?
Okay, good question. So it took me a while to realise that when you are stenciling with a sponge, you do not need much paint on there at all.
Right.
So if I just dip the sponge into the paint lid, it has a lot of wet
Like
paint on it.
excess on it. Yeah,
So
right.
by dabbing it onto this is a hiiiii Swap messy mat, I think she calls it, and it just it takes off some of the blobbiness of the paint and kind of smooths it across the sponge so that it's not just really dense in one area.
Yeah, right.
If
So it
you-
gives you a lot more like even consistency.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So if you're having trouble with stenciling, try to have as least paint on there. It practically looks like there's no paint on there at all. It looks like it couldn't transfer anything to the page, but it can because it's all sucked up
Yeah,
inside
like
the
sucks
sponge.
it up. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Are we ready for the reveal?
Almost.
Almost. Da, 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 da.
Whoa! How cool does that look?
Looks really cool. And then I go around with my Uniball Signo Broad gel pen in white, and I'm just going around and outlining all of those hearts. And I'm leaving, something I've been really enjoying is leaving a little black, if I do this on black background, leaving a tiny little black gap between the colour and my white pen. And I just think it makes it stand out even more. See how there's like 2 millimeters of gap between the white paint pen line.
It doesn't really
and the
make
heart.
it stand out, because if you put it directly on top,
You wouldn't be able
really
to
see it.
tell. Yeah.
Yeah, it would give it a little bit of an outline, but yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Hmm.
Good tip.
Thanks. So now I
Whoa.
decided to write a quote on these side bits, and I didn't center it. So we're going for the off-centered look today. And I think I just did an art journal page. I actually finished my... Did I tell you I finished my... my art journal. I did
That's awesome.
I have, it was one of my scrappy resolutions over on Patreon. I filmed a video in January outlining my scrappy resolutions for the year.
Oh, it's such a good idea.
And I haven't done them all. I've tried.
Well, it's only, what,
tried
like July or whatever it is?
I've tried really hard, but I was hoping to finish 3 art journals by the end of June. Alas, I didn't. But I've finished this one by the end of July, and it was the biggest challenge.
It was insane though, right? This is the hugely
this is the
thick
big
one.
Yeah, with all the textures. And so I just filmed my final process video, and there'll be a flip through, but it probably won't be until October, because I've scheduled art process videos
All
every
of the
fortnight. So in October, you'll get a flip through over here on YouTube. And I filmed a final video, and the quote that I put on that page I thought was a good one. It says, "Better an oops than a what if."
Yeah,
and that's
nice.
true. I think that it's important in art journaling to kind of accept the oopses and just go with them, because if you don't oops, you'll never know what ifs you could have had,
And if it's
you
too
won't learn.
strict, then you're not going to have any fun.
Exactly. So the page is all done.
ta-da!
Don't forget to
That
check
looks
out
really
issue
cool.
6 of Brush Magazine if you want some arty inspiration. It's filled with, and you can submit your own. They have challenges, and you could submit your own art journal pages, and you might be able to
excellent.
see them in there too.
Yeah, right. That's really cool.
Yeah, but thanks for watching, everyone. If you want any more info on where you can get the magazine or on my Patreon, the links are always in the description below, or my Facebook group, Scrapaholics Anonymous. And thanks for watching. Until next time, what am I doing here? Oh, I was talking about the gap. Until next time, bye.
Bye.